And the top story of today is erosion and sediment control for streams, wetlands, and lakes. Here's Wes Hickelman with a look at a recent tragedy in our communities involving a death in a local waterway.
Thank you, Kane Ran. I have an exclusive interview today with one of the individuals impacted by this tragedy. Fresh out of the water, here is Mr. Gills to tell us about what is happening in our local streams.
Thank you, Miss Hickelman. It is with a heavy heart that I share with you that I have lost one of my cousins this morning. This is the fourth cousin and multiple friends that I have lost this week, including Shelby the snail and Sam the salamander.
If we could just have a moment of silence, I guess. Thank you for being so brave to tell your story, Mr. Gills. Do you know anything about what is happening in our streams to cause all these losses?
I'll tell you what the problem is. It's all this erosion and sediment in our streams, lakes, and wetlands.
How does the sediment harm fish friends like you, Mr. Gills?
There are many issues with having a bunch of sediment in our water. It can fill in the habitat spaces between the rocks where we live and suffocate us or our babies. It can prevent us from seeing our food, which can starve us. It can dislodge plants, invertebrates, or insects from the stream bed, which can disrupt our food sources. Not to mention that it can increase the cost of treating drinking water and can result in odor or taste problems for you humans.
Oh goodness, how is the sediment getting in our waterways?
There are many ways that the stream banks can erode, specifically on construction sites. Some things that can contribute to erosion are removed vegetation, steep bank slopes, unprotected outside bins, and increased levels of runoff in the drainage area.
Is there anything that can be done about this?
Well, when working on a site, avoid removing vegetation to the best of their ability. Replant along steep stream banks and use things like logs, large rocks, or embedded root wads to protect outside curves and incorporate infiltration into any spot you can. And try to direct runoff into grassy swales and vegetated or landscaped areas.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gills. We now have a better understanding of this problem. I am being told we have a second interview lined up with construction man Boone Tink. Here's East Hickelman on the scene. I'm East Hickelman, and I'm here on the scene with construction man Boone Tink, and he is here to tell us more about some ways that we can prevent construction sites from killing more of Mr. Gills' friends and family.
One thing that can be done is to make sure that any temporary stream crossings on the site are done properly. In order to do this, we need to make sure that we keep equipment away from and out of streams and make sure that nothing constructed impedes on the natural flow. It is also important to make sure that any temporary stream crossings are put in areas where the least stream damage will occur. Look for areas with hard stream bottoms, low or gently sloping banks, and heavy stable vegetation on both sides.
Wow, that is a lot to keep in mind. Could you tell us more about keeping heavy stable vegetation on both sides?
We want to make sure that we can either keep existing vegetated buffers or add new ones to prevent erosion. This can be done by being careful with any vegetation near stream banks, planting native species where vegetation has been removed, and not mowing near the banks to promote stable channels during high flows. These vegetated buffers are the last chance to capture sediment before it enters the waterway, so it is super important.
Is there anything else you would like to tell us about preventing erosion and sediment on a job site?
A few general reminders that can help keep erosion and sediment where it is supposed to be are to make sure to stabilize all disturbed areas within 50 feet of the top of stream banks within 24 hours of their disturbance. Not having any clearings or other activities within 50 feet of perennial or intermittent waterways. Flag off vegetated buffer areas to keep equipment away and clean up after yourself.
Well, thank you, Mr. Gills and construction man Boone Tink. We appreciate all of your guidance on how to prevent these tragedies. It is now time for Mr. Gills to go home.
Thank you, Wes and East Hickelman. You can pay your respects to Mr. Gills' cousins by visiting mrgillscousins.com, and you can learn more about erosion and sediment control by visiting Mr. Boone Tink Construction.com. Thanks for tuning in.